Who in the hell was that man you were with? Something about you leaving the house without cleaning up after yourself at all, dirty dishes piled up in the sink.
Yeah, I was in a big rush this morning, so I didn't really have time.
See, these are the kinds of things you always do. Aren't older siblings supposed to be, oh, I don't know, more responsible? You're the one in charge of chores around the house, in case you forgot.
God, you sure sound ready for motherhood with all of your nagging.
You think I'm telling you because I'm trying to be the mother figure here? I'm helping you out by giving you my heads up that you aren't getting your stuff done.
Okay, just hang on a second here. Don't you think it's even the slightest bit strange that I'm the only one doing the housework? You live in the same house as I do, so why don't you help me out with it instead of complaining that I haven't done it yet?
You should know the answer to that already. I don't have to because Mom says I don't have to help you.
Yes, I do actually know that already. I know she told you that, but I'm just asking you to think about it logically. Don't you think it's strange that I'm the only one doing it and Mom says you don't have to help?
Huh? And here I thought you didn't know all this time. But still, the only one who thinks it's strange is you. Everyone else understands how this all works. And you know why that is, don't you?
What do you mean everyone else understands how this works? What exactly is it that I'm missing?
Oh, please. Don't you think you're misjudging what kind of a person you are?
I don't know what you mean by that.
See, you're the kind of person that has to help out and serve others no matter what. And me, I'm a person who can't possibly cause problems for other people. I think you know what I'm getting at. I'm obviously on a completely different level than you.
You can't possibly think that's true, it's completely ridiculous.
Of course I do, otherwise I wouldn't have said it. Besides, if I was wrong, someone would have told me by now, wouldn't they? Obviously Mom, Dad, and I are superior to you in practically every way, so it only makes sense. We order you around, and you do what you're told. Simple, right? If you don't like it, you have no one to blame but yourself for being lazy.
I haven't been lazy at all. And I've been dealing with this mistreatment from you three since middle school. This isn't even recent.
Ever wonder why it started then? It's obviously because your grades weren't good enough to meet Mom and Dad's standards. You know the old saying, you reap what you sow.
Still, it's too strange that I'm the only one being singled out here. I've never even been given a fair chance.
There it is again, it's strange this, it's strange that. You sound like a broken record. You want to be given a chance to prove yourself when there's obviously no point. There would be zero advantages to Mom and Dad in doing that, and you're in no place to make demands.
It'd be one thing if they told me to go live on my own if I don't like their rules, but they won't even let me move into my own place. Ordering me to give them money, forcing me to do all the housework. It's almost as if they've decided on their lifelong maid.
A maid. Haha, that's a perfect example. I'd be willing to bet anything that's exactly what they think of you. Makes sense, don't you think? At the very least, you're capable of doing housework lol.
I find it incredibly disturbing that you don't see anything wrong with that. Violet, please, at the very least try to understand where I'm coming from here. Troy agrees that there's something really weird about the way you guys treat me.
Troy's just a big softie, of course he's showing you sympathy. Speaking of Troy, you know how he graduated from an Ivy League school this year? He's already slated to join a multi-million-dollar chat company. You know how hard he had to work to get to where he is? Oh right, of course you wouldn't. You're too busy ditching school to know what hard work is. And that's exactly why a good-for-nothing like you is being put to use in exactly the place you should be, doing housework and cleaning lol.
Just lay off already. This conversation is going nowhere, so I'm out.
That's so funny. You actually thought something would change because we had a little chat. LOL. Is that really what you were expecting? Door widow baby. Well, you just have to work really hard at what you're already doing. You don't really have any other talents worth mentioning, so it would probably be best not to go against what we tell you anymore. Just saying. The only thing that'll come of it is you losing any argument you try to make anyway, so don't even bother. Several hours later.
Hey May, don't worry about everything over here. So just take it easy, okay? I think you're getting some weird messages or something over there, but just ignore them lol.
Sorry, Troy, I feel like I'm always weighing you down.
Nah, don't worry about it. I've already gotten everything done that needs to for my graduation credit. I'm pretty much on week 6 of living at home with no job, so I've got a lot of free time lol.
Yeah, but once you finally do join the workforce, it'll be an uphill battle from then on. You should enjoy your freedom while you still can, do everything you want to do before you're bogged down by work. Just ignore me and my silly problems.
Like I said, I've got a lot of free time. And I've been telling you from the very start that there's something very wrong with how the rest of the family is treating you. What with all 3 of them barking orders at you all the time. It's beyond ridiculous.
Still, Violet is your big sister too.
Let's clear one thing up. You're my big sister and that's how I see you. But Violet is a selfish brat. As far as I'm concerned, she's no sister of mine.
Even though she's selfish, she's still your sister. You shouldn't talk about her like that.
Geez. You know this is exactly why they take advantage of you, right? You're too nice. Regardless, to be perfectly honest with you, I think your job is absolutely amazing. There's no way in hell I could do what you do.
Thanks, Troy. It makes me happy to hear someone say that. Anyway, I'll be coming back home tomorrow, so I'll see you then.
Got it. Also, don't worry about us back home. Just turn off your notifications for the 3 other numbskulls. Otherwise you're gonna exhaust yourself trying to look after all of us.
Haha, thanks for caring. So this is how it's been for as long as I can remember. My mother, father and sister all held some outlandish expectations of me and my grades when I was in high school. I graduated from a vocational school, but it means absolutely nothing to them. To this day, they continue to scold and belittle me. Troy seems to be the only one on my side in all this, but I feel so bad that he has to take the brunt of their complaints about me. While I'm out on a business trip, Troy is back at home telling those 3 nagging miscreants off for the way they treat me. Of course, I'm no glutton for punishment. I'm fully aware that I should try to get out of the house as soon as possible. Even so, I need to make sure that Troy himself gets out of the house and can stand on his own 2 feet before leaving the nest myself. It's the only reason I'm still staying put for now. It's only a matter of months before Troy gains independence from my parents, gets his own job and lives on his own, so that's my cutoff point as well. This isn't a secret from Troy or anything, mind you. He's aware of my plans and he's agreed to it. Unfortunately though, something's happened with the worst timing I could possibly imagine.
Several months later. You really are something, aren't you? Guess you can expect lower-class folk to be capable of anything but lower-class thinking. Though I guess I could say you've completely met all my expectations, lol.
What is your problem all of a sudden? I'm kind of in the middle of work, so if you have some rotten thing to say to me, can you save it for later?
In the middle of work? As if there's anything difficult or even respectable about your work, for that matter. Anyways, someone from your work is here. What exactly is this all about?
Someone from my work? Who is it?
Seriously? You don't even have any idea who it is?
Listen, you're really starting to get on my nerves. If you got something to say, just spit it out already.
Oh, come on. You're taking this out on me? Some girl here is saying you're the hussy who stole her fiancé. I shouldn't be the one who has to deal with her. Any way you look at it, this is your responsibility.
What on earth are you trying to pull? This is absolutely ridiculous.
And now you're playing dumb? But whatever, I'll bite. She told me she's a secretary at the place you work at. She even gave me a business card, so I know she's legit. So do I really need to say this again? She's claiming you're the homewrecker who stole her fiancé.
Okay. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but I seriously have no idea what you're talking about.
I get it. I got it. I can see how you wouldn't want to admit something so low and heinous. After all, it'd pretty much be the end for you and your little job, wouldn't it? There's really no way to refute this though. She's shown up with a ton of photo evidence, super incriminating LOL. It's really about time you dropped the ACT, don't you think? No matter how much you feign ignorance, this is cold hard proof. This is so shocking, even for you. Not only are you a garbage, lower-class simpleton, you're also a homewrecker. You are so done, LOL.
Alright, now I know I have to look into this. I really need to know what this is all about.
Oh come on. Why don't you doubt me no matter what I say? You can go ahead and deny it to your heart's content, if it makes you feel better, LOL. A few minutes later.
Troy, are you at home right now? Violet's spouting some really crazy stuff.
About the affair, right?
Yes, about the whole thing. I need you to tell me who came to our house and what the hell is going on.
Before any of that, you should really apologize for what you did. With how much evidence she brought over, there's no denying it. I don't want to believe it myself, but there's no arguing against it.
Troy, you've got to believe me. This has to be some sort of misunderstanding. I have no memory of doing anything like that.
Still, no matter how you look at it or what you have to say about it, seeing this all for myself, I really think that you should apologize.
They've even got you believing all this? You should at least hear my side of the story before jumping to conclusions.
There's no way you don't understand what doing this sort of thing means for you. Cheating, especially with someone's fiancé, let alone at your own job, has some serious implications.
You think I don't know that?
Then why would you do something so stupid in the first place? You think I wanted to believe that you did this? But this lady showed up, bawling her eyes out, going on about how she can't believe you would do this.
I seriously have no idea who she even is. This is absurd.
If that's the case, then who the hell was that? She was seriously sobbing uncontrollably. Don't tell me you're trying to say this is all just one elaborate lie.
How dare you? Troy, I thought you of all people that at least you'd believe me.
Like I said, you should apologize. Even though you caused this, I'll still listen to your side of the story afterwards.
I'm having this all looked into at my company right now. But I'm in utter shock that even you won't believe me. I'm sorry, Troy. I know I said I'd hang back at the house with you until you were ready to live on your own once our job is secured, but I can't be around the house anymore. I'm moving out tomorrow.
May, wait. Don't make any rash decisions. I'll listen to you, I swear.
No, I can't take this anymore. You know how much I wanted to support you and make sure you were okay with Mom, Dad, and Violet being who they are until you graduated and moved out yourself. But this is the last straw. I'm done. None of you has the right to continually speak ill of me, not to this degree.
Listen, even if you do move out, it doesn't have to be tomorrow, right? Look, I'm sorry, I went overboard, all right? Can you please just calm down?
All you needed to do was apologize. You don't need to worry about me, I'm not alone. I have my fiancé, who actually has unconditional faith in me.
I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have doubted you before without listening to your side of the story. I've been meaning to meet with your fiancé anyway. So just don't suddenly spring such a drastic decision on me like that.
Sorry, but it's decided.
Fine. So, I don't want to push it or anything, but you're coming back today, right?
No, I'm not. I'll come by to pick up all my things tomorrow, so make sure to tell the three nags about it.
Just hang on a second. May, pick up.
Even with everything that had transpired, by far the biggest shock was that I couldn't even get my brother to believe me. I was completely exhausted and threw all caution to the wind. My fiancé told me I could move in with him immediately, so I decided that no matter what they said, no matter what they did, I would never go back. I'm still worried about Troy, of course. After all, he's still my little brother, and up until then he'd always been on my side. But there was no turning back. This was the straw that broke the camel's back.
The next day. Hey, little Miss Homewrecker. You done packing all your stuff? Troy told me everything. But aren't you forgetting something before you leave? Or are you really planning to just blow us all off without so much as a thank you?
No, actually, why would it even be necessary for me to thank you?
Yeesh, cold as ice. For starters, how about the debt of gratitude to Mom and Dad for raising you? You're really just gonna leave without even showing your face. You haven't fooled anyone, by the way. It's obvious that you're treading lightly trying to get your stuff without us noticing.
I'm not treading lightly, whatever you mean by that. Troy is at home and so is Mom. On the contrary, I want all of you to know I'm leaving. I'm never returning to that house ever again. So you can all live your high-class life by yourselves and do without me around.
You really pissed me off. Who exactly do you think you are? All you did is pay rent, but you think you really had something to offer us? Oh wait, do you seriously think we're going to be worse off just because there's no one around to do the housework? Don't make me laugh. With my pay, I'll just hire a maid. Simple as that.
Then how about you just do that then? If you can just pay for all the work I did, then by all means, have at it. Not that you have even the faintest idea of how heavy that workload even was.
Of course I can pay for it. And with money to spare. Even though you're such low-class scum, you're lazy to boot. Hey, you know what we call you around this house? Low-class criminal scum. Ha ha ha.
Wow, that's so catchy. LOL. And I'm not a criminal, by the way.
Well, I guess it is true that infidelity isn't a legally punishable crime, lol. But even you have to admit that stealing is a crime, lol. It's a slippery slope, you know? Sure, this time all you did was snatch a person's lover from them, but there's no telling what you might steal next. Never knew you were such a shady person.
Just lay off already.
Oh well, it's all for the best that you're leaving the house anyway. The more I think about it, the more I've realized that having a simpleton around the house is no way to live. Especially with all the rumors about your little antics that are undoubtedly gonna start spreading around. Yes, it's definitely best that you go. It's best we're no longer associated with you.
Good, because I'm already gone. To hell with you all, of you I'm never speaking to any of you ever again.
Oh, is that so? What a relief, lol. Later then. Ha ha ha.
Grabbing as many belongings as I could, I left the house. Even though my mother was there, she just pretended like I didn't exist at all. She completely ignored me. But then there was Troy. He just watched uncomfortably as I packed my things. Neither of us uttered a single word. I was really hoping I'd be able to see him off as he went off into the world and gained his own independence. I can't possibly express how disappointing it is how things turned out. When I'd finally finished parking and got into my fiancé's car though, it suddenly hit me that I wasn't gonna see them ever again. I couldn't stop worrying about Troy, and before I realized it, I was crying. I wasn't sure if I'd made the right decision or not. I fully admit that it was abrupt, and I wasn't able to find peace about it. However, half a year later, something interesting happened.
A year and a half later. Hey! You there? Answer me. I saw you hanging out with Troy the other day, you know. You got a lot to answer to.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, but have we met before? Who are you? This makes for an awful first impression, you know, talking to a complete stranger by saying, "Hey, answer me," all rudely like that. I would expect a decent person from a well-educated, socially upper-class background to at least introduce themselves first.
What the hell are you doing, acting like you don't even know me? Stop playing dumb. You're up to something and I know it, so spill it already. Who in the hell was that man you were with? I've never seen him before in my life.
If you want an explanation, you need to calm down first and tell me what you saw, where and when. Without any context, those questions are all difficult to answer. Does what I'm saying make any sense to you at all? Or are you having trouble with basic communication skills?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about yesterday at Bernicci's. Your kind doesn't fit in at a place like that at all, so tell me what you're up to.
My kind? I see you haven't changed a bit. If you must know, that man is my husband.
What? Your husband? You gotta be kidding me, you're married?
I see Troy hasn't even told you about that. Wow. I really would have liked to stick around until he graduated, but I guess this is how the chips fell. Mom and Dad saw to it that I couldn't even do that. But it didn't even occur to you what Troy might be up to all that time after I moved out of the house? Surely you weren't completely clueless about it.
He didn't tell me what he was doing or where he was going, so how could I possibly know that?
Being the intelligent, high-class citizen you are, I'm sure you've already realized it by now, haven't you?
Realized what?
It should be plain as day from everything you said you saw. The expensive restaurant, my husband, and Troy being there.
Well, it is in blindest day. That's why I'm asking. How is your husband able to book a private room at a restaurant like that?
Oh, he's just the CEO of Joy Incorporated.
Wait a minute. I've heard that name before. Wait, that's a company Troy was sought to work at after he graduated.
Yes, I guess you'd phrase it like that, never giving me the credit for it. To be more precise, it's the company that I work at.
No way. That can't be. That's not the company that secretary lady who came sobbing to our door back then said she was from.
Oh right, that lady. As it turns out, she was stalking my husband. The elevator doesn't go all the way to the top in her case, if you know what I mean. She made something of a name for herself with her ridiculous, life-filled emotional outbursts. She was only a former co-worker of my husband's. They'd never dated or had any intimate relations at all whatsoever. Her entire story was fabricated.
Fabricated? But the photographic evidence she brought.
It was all photoshopped. And a bad Photoshop job at that, as well. Everyone at the workplace saw her evidence but saw right through it immediately. The edit job was so bad.
So she made up the whole thing and tricked me? Unbelievable.
It's your fault for getting tricked by such obviously fake photos. And for someone who always claims to be so superior too, that's a riot. Anyway, that woman is famous around here for all the wrong reasons. It was commonplace for her to wait outside the office for my husband to come out, wearing a wig and sneaking around. She's had countless run-ins with law enforcement for her shenanigans. Security has banned her from even entering the building at this point. And now, she's nothing but an outsider trying to get back in.
Geez, she was not crazy. I can't believe I didn't notice.
After I moved out and got married, she forced herself into the building and caused a huge scene. I've never seen such a crazy outburst in my life. As far as I know, she was arrested after that. Haven't heard from her since.
So all that sobbing, all those claims of being cheated on, it was all just one big performance?
Pretty much. Anyway, there weren't any problems on my end with my coworkers or managers. Everyone was on my side from the very beginning, including my husband. And it probably goes without saying, but Troy is on my side now as well.
What? So that's what you were talking about at that fancy restaurant, then?
Well, yes and no. Troy and I actually made up a long time ago. We were talking about his job offer with my husband's company. Troy turned it down.
Why on earth would he do that?
Long story short, one story found out the truth about what happened. He felt so guilty he didn't think he deserved to work at our company anymore. Actually, he felt guilty way before that. That's how he found me in the first place.
What? This is all so confusing. I don't even know what to think anymore.
After I left, Troy felt so bad and he tried his best to find me and apologize. With no other clue, he ended up going to her office. The real receptionist said he seemed so earnest when he explained the situation that she just couldn't sit back and ignore the situation, so she told him the truth about what happened and called me to tell me he was there. Of course, I went down to meet him right away. It was then that he told me he couldn't possibly accept the job.
But Troy hasn't told me any of this. Why wouldn't he tell me such important information?
Obviously, he decided it wasn't necessary to fill you in on the matter.
The only obvious thing here is that he should have just told me you're married to such an impressive man.
Why should that mean anything to you?
Because Mom and Dad would love to meet him, of course. You're gonna introduce him to us, right? You sure have done well for yourself, I have to admit. Let's get together for lunch, soon. I can hardly wait to meet him. I wonder when we should meet up? Well, in any case, I'm sure whatever time he can come we can find an opening in our schedule. Actually, regardless of our schedule, we'll work around yours. So, why don't we meet up?
I'm so very sorry for interrupting your incessant babbling, but why would I bring my husband to meet complete strangers? That doesn't really make any sense to me. No, really, tell me, for what reason would I ever do that?
I'm not sure why exactly you're calling us strangers. We're your family. I guess I just don't get your sense of humor, lol.
Oh, my dear former little sister. How far you've fallen.
What are you talking about?
I mean, it seems the tables have turned. We must have come a long way if you're sucking up to me. Me, the low-class maid. I thought you said it was better that you didn't associate with me, last time we talked?
Well, things change.
They certainly do, don't they? Whatever happened to that vibrant career you were so proud of before? I'm sure this is a sore topic, but didn't you got fired? Aren't you just working little part-time jobs here and there? It seems to me like all that insensitive mockery has finally caught up to you. What was that tried and true old phrase about karma? It seems to have slipped my mind.
How on earth do you know about that?
And then there are loving parents, who did everything in their power to keep me from succeeding in life and mocked me every step of the way. What was it that happened to them again? Oh, that's right. Their stupid daughter had some quibble about being treated unfairly in the office and got so upset that she assaulted her boss. And said daughter, of course, had no money saved up to pay for the ensuing lawsuit, so it looks like they had to foot the bill. But it's great that you were able to settle out of court, isn't it? Good for you guys. At least you all saved on lawyer fees.
How did you know about that? I should have suspected you were actually stalking us and keeping tabs.
Oh, come on, don't flatter yourself. As you're aware, rumors spread like wildfire in these parts. Believe me, I didn't want to hear anything about you guys, but you ended up being the talk of the town and I couldn't help but overhear.
Well then, if you know about her situation, you should know we're in big financial trouble. It's about time you repaid your obligations to her family anyway.
I guess you have a point there. How should I settle my obligations to you three? Ah, yes. I've got just the perfect thing. Hang in there.
Hang in there.
You know, like a word of encouragement. I think that more than pays off what I owe you three. I never received a single penny, not so much as a positive word from you guys. I paid all my school expenses myself, and paid back all my student loans. Thinking back to high school, I worked my butt off just to pay my own way. I don't recollect ever receiving a damn thing. All I remember is being forced to do housework and being exploited for everything I had. Or do you think I should be obliged to you for forcing me to clean up after you and tend to your every need? I feel no sense of obligation to any of you, but if I had to choose some feeling I had towards the three of you, it would be bitterness.
Come on, you can't be that cold.
Actually, if anyone has obligations, wouldn't you agree that it should be you? Our parents incessantly doted on you and treated you well, so it sounds like you're the one who'd better get cracking on paying them back. You've been pampered your whole life. So hang in there.
Wait just a second. If that's true for me, then it's the same for Troy. He was pampered just like I was.
Right, about Troy. He's been calling you three annoying nags for as long as I can remember. He's almost always been on my side, with one notable exception that he has shown plenty of remorse for. And I shouldn't have to remind you how awful you all really were. Especially you. So believe me when I say, he's nothing like you. So do us a favor and don't group him together with the likes of you.
Don't turn your back on me. This is so difficult, I don't know what to do. You're the oldest, you're supposed to take care of us in our time of need. Help us.
Don't turn my back on you? Oh, the irony. You turned your backs on me long ago. You're in no position to accuse me of what you started. If you wanted me to ever provide support to you, you should have afforded it to me when I needed it. Too little, too late, stranger. Besides, your tone was still menacing and hateful all the way up until I told you who my husband was, then you turned a complete 180. The words hypocritical and pathetic don't even begin to describe you.
Pathetic?
I don't even consider you three family anymore. You forced me to burn that bridge. Besides, you didn't think of me as family before now, did you? Wasn't it you who said maid was the perfect description for me? So in the end, we're on the same page. I don't think there's anything left for us to discuss.
No, wait.
I will say though, I do want you to suffer for what you put me through. So, I hope you have a terrible time, lol.
After that.
My former family has tried to contact me countless times, but I've since blocked them and finally severed my last tie with them. They tried several times to make contact with me and my husband by coming to her office and making a fuss, but all it took was a call to the police and they reluctantly went home. I would say I feel sorry for them if it weren't for the years of hell they put me through when I needed support the most growing up. It seems the three miscreants are in dire straits financially after shelling out for a Violet's assault charge. And what's more, Violet apparently took out a huge loan and went on an extravagant spending spree to try and cope with her stress. It goes without saying that they are in a less than enviable position, lol. As for Troy, out of sheer guilt for being duped in the whole crazy stalker incident, he did try to refuse the job offer outer company at first. He's learned from it and he considers himself all the wiser for it. We both know it was just a misunderstanding, and as far as we're concerned, it's all water under the bridge now. Troy is a really hard worker, and we all consider him a priceless asset to the company. I always look forward to the chances I get to go out to eat and spend time with my brother.